thought you invited me to that wedding. And it was just a boyfriend that happened to like mention he was going to a wedding, but wasn't going to invite you because his ex-girlfriend was going to be there. And then you show up and you're like looking. Anyway, that was real random. But that's how it felt.
Sorry.
I was like, okay, all right. So
I'm so sorry.
it was like, we're going to record. We're going to go to dinner. And I made reservations. And for whatever reason, in my last, 5 years, everyone has to throw a knot in front of my name. Like,
We'll take a night.
Patriots. Now I'm a not Jenny because I make reservations at Lark. And I speak with Kelly multiple times throughout the week. And Lark is amazing. We've got pictures of all of this. If you follow us on IG, Twitter, at It Got Weird Pod, you'll be able to have a good little experience. And so I call Kelly to make reservations at first. And it was going to be a party of, we thought 6-ish, because we thought Lex was going to be able to make it, but he wasn't.
We missed you.
And Kath calls me in the middle of the week and says, hey, can you add my sisters to the mix? Like, sure.
Uh-huh.
And really that was just a +1. So I call Kelly and I say, hey, I need to add +1 to that party. And she goes, okay, so this is Jenny. I said, yeah. And she's like, okay, looking forward to you guys, blah, blah, blah. And then call her again on Friday to confirm. And she's like, and they're like, oh, we had you down for tonight. I was like, no, it's tomorrow. She's like, okay, great. So then Saturday comes, hey, can you add another one? Now, I don't know. I thought Terry thought he was just having dinner with us.
Oh, okay.
And in my real life world, when I change things for people in my life, it's like a whole, I have to deal with so much anxiety with any little bit of change. So I was like, okay, what is this going to look like? Is he going to be okay? Which it was the absolute best dinner ever.
So much fun.
Skip to the end. But so I call and I add another person. And Kelly's like, okay, Jenny, yep, I've got you. So we get to the restaurant and Cass, I knew how timing and traffic was going to go, that you guys weren't going to be able to make it on time.
Yeah.
So Sherry, Terry, and I have an amazing time at the Taint. And then we make our way to the restaurant and we get to see Kelly and she goes, oh my gosh, you guys are part of Jenny's party. And like, I'm kind of sitting there. I'm like, what the fuck? She's like, I have talked to her multiple times this week. I'm so intrigued by this party. And it was kind of, okay. So we make our way upstairs. She was delightful. And then you come in with your sisters and your amazing friend. We've got to give him a code name.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
Dirk.
That is a good, yep.
Dirk. That's a Dutch name, so that'll work. That'll work for us.
That works.
Dirk.
That works. And so you guys come in and Kelly comes up and she goes, and you guys are like, wow, she asked us if we were Jenny.
She goes, oh, are you Jenny? Like we walk, she's like, oh, you're Jenny. And I'm like, no. She's like, well, they're upstairs. I'm like, well, obviously Jenny's here. Like, who's upstairs? Like, who are you bringing me to? It has to be Jenny and friends. Like, really? So we get there.
You walk up and she's like, yep, this wasn't Jenny either. Can't wait to meet her. And I'm like sitting there like, okay, well, when I said Jenny party out, we're the Jenny part, whatever. Okay, whatever. So she's like, yep, not Jenny either. So then we wait on Carson. First time I've done it.
It is the first time you've done it. But now you've met him in real life, so now you're like attached. You have like an emotional attachment to that
Wait
person.
a minute, they're the same person? Are you serious?
No, they're not. No.
Oh,
Alex came and then he ran out because Carson was running late. So we just said, hey.
What is your side dude? I don't know.
Carson's my main dude.
Okay.
So Carson comes up and Kelly goes, yep, not Jenny either. And I'm like sitting here.
Astute observation, Kelly.
And had I had enough commitment in me, I wanted to just call her the next day and say, how was that party? Like I was just a person that just put a whole bunch of strangers at a dinner party.
It's so funny.
To which I'm
good.
glad I said, hey, Kelly, I'm not Jenny. And she goes, oh my gosh, you're Jenny. I'm like, yeah. She's like, how did I miss that? I'm like, I don't know.
We really don't know.
She's like, this is the most interesting group. I was like, we haven't even really talked yet.
Yeah, we
And
just met each other.
if there was a fly on the wall, I would have loved to be a table next to us also.
Yeah, I bet they had a good time overhearing a lot of that conversation.
Yeah. So the dinner was amazing. We did a photo shoot and all that good stuff, but I was so freaking out Friday that I was like drunk texting Brian how I was freaking out about not seeing you until Saturday night, but it all worked out. It was all worth it. But we had our first major blowout. Not blowout.
And you weren't even there for it.
And you weren't even there for it. That's how a relationship is.
To be fair, I felt the stress on my side of the conversation because I had my sisters trying to squeeze people in and then not squeeze because my sister her husband with. And I'm like, nay, like we should reverse that. So we should do because I just used her real name.
Yes.
Pause for a second. I had one of my sisters wanting to bring her husband with that we didn't anticipate. And then a last minute add-on and the coordination with no car and getting from Bellevue to Seattle is quite a feat in a Lyft. And it had already been a long day. And then coordinating this outfit exchange, it was a lot of moving pieces for me. And I was getting super stressed out about trying to make everyone happy, which is my own personal flaw I've had forever, like forever and a day I've had this. So I wasn't fighting with you, but I definitely felt the stress of a fight because I was trying to fit it all in and make it work.
No, I just wanted you to get an idea of that's how a breakup happened. Like multiple times. I'm now like, I'm apologizing to a couple of people in my mind because they just never saw it coming. I'm like, oh, you didn't feel that? Like, we were growing apart. Like I was over it. But I love you. I would never break up with you. I'm just saying, like we had
I appreciate
that's how
that.
our fights. Yeah. Usually I don't say anything and I do dishes, but I was in Seattle, so I just ate.
While we were trying to your detriment and to my benefit maybe, or vice versa, depending on what point of the night it was, while we were in this quote fight unquote at Dirk's house, because that's where I was getting ready and we're trying to figure out the time. This is around the bar time. Dirk could sense it, and he had been day drinking with his ex-boyfriend all day. So he forced me to take a shot of vodka before we left because he's like, you just need to fucking relax. It was so bad. But he wouldn't let me, like, he's very persistent, and he would not let me move forward if I did not take a shot of shitty vodka.
Those are the kind of friends you need in your life.
No, he's a wonderful human being. Dirk is amazing.
Amazing. Dirk is one of my favorite people, hands down, right now. And the other side of that is like my weekend was filled with pristine like drinks and food, and he got me to take a drink of that Costco vodka at the end in between like travel arrangements. I'm like, why am I going to like, I felt like I was like sucking on a fermented potato.
That's the way we do it in Portland, okay? Every now and then, that's just the way it rolls out in Portland when we're all together. But to be fair, that shot of vodka came with a puppy, and you got to pet Char Char Binks, who's the most amazing golden lab you'll ever meet. So it all worked out, in my opinion. That's worth the payoff for me.
Honestly, and at some point, I think you're coming up soon. No, my payoff came at the dinner.
Yes, this is true.
There was a nice, weird moment that we'll get to. But Brian, do you have any apologies?
You know what? My daughter. I need to apologize to my daughter.
Why?
She had her first period. And I really wanted to be the dad that was like, hey, this is all okay. And you know what I mean? Like I wanted to be the male figure that was like, just really kind of like supportive so that like we could just kind of keep all the awkward weirdness of it away from her.
Mm-hmm.
Did you cry?
Well, the thing is, I found out about it
You
like
cried.
hours. I found out about it hours later. Like I was
Yeah.
on the phone with her. Like she was at home, with my son, and my wife was away doing yoga, and it's like I was literally FaceTiming her, and like I was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I got a little bit of a headache," and I'm like, "Okay, cool. Well, I'll be home in a little bit." Yada yada yada, and then I get a text from my wife with a screenshot that says, from her to my wife, saying, "I just got my period." Like I literally just got off the phone with her, and I'm like, I wanted to be the dad that was like, "Hey, it's okay, and that's awesome," and I don't know.
But you didn't know.
I didn't know. She didn't tell me, and so like we've already built that awkward, weird wall between the female and male species. I don't know.
It's not
I'm
permanent.
sorry.
There are ways to
Yeah.
navigate it.
Yeah.
Little.
No, because now everything a dad says after the point is all like, "Oh, well, you're a dude. You don't know what the hell you're talking about." I mean, it's like there's no like, now it's them against us. That's what happens. So.
Every girl likes ice cream.
Mhm.
I don't know. You could make her a little like a fun pack.
And you don't have to be weird about it. You could just like really make it, have a two-way conversation, but you could also make it very one-way where you're like, you don't have to talk about it with me if you don't want to. Bring in the fun back, insert Jenny's recommendation. I love you, and this is a part of natural life, and this is who you are as a human being, and I'm so happy you're navigating it well. If you ever need me, I'm here, but here's some great stuff for you. I love you so much. Don't ever hesitate to come to me if you need me, kind of thing. And
Oh,
just
that's good.
like throw the ball in her court and then just, see how she reacts. Like maybe just like wait for it a little bit, or, maybe that'll open the door for later conversations where she doesn't have to feel so weird about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Like don't force her into a
She had it
conversation.
on summer break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Got a couple months to get used to it. Take some time.
Ugh. Are you okay, Brian?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing
You
a
knew
lot
this was
of
going to
stuff.
happen.
Yeah.
Oh, don't think of it as missing it. You're just a couple hours behind.
It's not a super fun, it's not a super happy moment, It's like, I just feel like because all those things that you want to do, like as a dad, that you want to do differently. Like we talked about it before. It's like, the double standards of, how women approach things versus how men approach things. And it's like, I want to break some of those for her. I want her to not have to live by them necessarily, understand them, but not have to live by them. I don't know.
Well, be that dad that, like I just said, put the ball in her court. Like Jenny referenced not too long ago, like her husband almost had he pretty much did have a full-on panic attack and got himself stupid drunk thinking his daughter got her period, as where you could totally be the opposite. And not that that's bad. Every man reacts differently, right? But you could totally be like, hey, just so you know, I'm here. I'm here for you, and you don't have to talk about
it's
it.
right there. Like Cassie's like, not that it's bad. Every man, no, fuck you guys. Grow up.
No, it was bad. It was bad.
Grow
No,
up, guys. This is just part of life, and it's like, but I don't know.
You could be a grandpa now.
Yay, babies.
Okay, you could fuck off.
Oh gosh. So with Seattle came some weird obsessions, and I'm a foodie, but I feel like I have a problem with food now.
My pants are feeling the same way. I'm so funny. Look at that. I made her choke.
My plan was get off the flight initially and head to Din Tang Fung and have their soup dumplings. But that didn't exactly pan out. I got off the flight, went to Mr. Big West or Mr. West. Was it Mr. West, Cass?
Oh, Mr. West, yeah, in the 8 building.
Mr. West. Yeah. And then it was so good. And then I checked into the hotel and then met Terry. So I didn't have a chance to go and have the dumplings. So as we were wrapping up Monday before I flew out, I was like, I've got to get over there. So I confirmed the location with Terry because he had told me about the place. And I go to this place, and it is super broke down mall. I mean, it is going through